After seizing control of Aleppo from Assad regime, Syrian rebels are now waging war in southwards of Hama. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and its allies are fighting some of the most violent clashes with Syrian soldiers in Hama in central Syria. Hama is a strategic city linking Aleppo to the capital Damascus. It was also a bastion of opposition to the Assad government early on in the civil war and the site of frequent mass protests. Assad's long-standing ally Russia has also entered the conflict to help Syrian forces repel the rebels' advances. The Russian military issued a statement saying its aerospace forces are continuing operations in the provinces of Idlib, Hama and Aleppo. The Syrian opposition-run rescue service known as the White Helmets released a video showing aftermath of the Russian strike. White Helmets claimed 3 civilians were killed after respiratory devices were shut down in an intensive care unit due to Russian airstrikes. The European Union called for all sides to de-escalate in Syria and condemned Russia for its airstrikes on densely populated areas. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said he was alarmed by the violence and called for an immediate halt to the fighting. The United States has also called for de-escalation in Syria.
We don't want to see any country try and take advantage of the situation in Syria, to try to take advantage of the instability in Syria. We want to see all countries use their influence, use their leverage to push for de-escalation, protection of civilians, and ultimately a political process forward.
Meanwhile, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian labeled the Syrian insurgents as terrorists, saying they should not be allowed to restart war and bloodshed in the region. In an interview with the country's state TV, he vowed to support the Syrian government as it did during the civil war.
We shouldn't allow terrorists and conspirators to start war and bloodshed in the region once again. We must try to do this through diplomacy and coordination with neighboring countries. We are brothers with Muslims and other countries.
Due to the raging battle in northern provinces, Syrians are leaving the war-affected areas in a haste. As per United Nations humanitarian agency, nearly 50,000 people displaced in Syria in recent days. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.